Why does it sound like they're literally shooting Fast and Furious outside my window? Yeah?
Actually not today, why not?
Yeah. Okay, this is about to be interesting. Let's get into it, shall we? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is a video that I've wanted to do for a really long time, but like I've just kept pushing it to the back, like it's just never happened. So finally I was like, do you know what? Let's make it happen. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, then you probably don't know that this video was coming, but basically I asked you guys over on Insta to send me any kind of like dilemmas that you have, or like any kind of problematic situations you happen to be in, you kind of need advice or some kind of guidance or whatever. I'm not claiming to be able to advise on every situation, and I'm also not suggesting that you necessarily take my advice, just like I put that little disclaimer out there. This is more so just if I was in this situation, or if one of my girls was in this situation, like what I would advise them to do. So, you know, I'm no professional out here. I'm just telling you like what I would do if I was in your position, or if I was advising like a close friend or family member if they were in this position. So now that we have the little formalities, don't know what that was, out of the way, we can get on into this. So I've not really like looked at them properly, so this is going to be like a straight off the, I don't know what this was. What was that? That's new. Like a straight off the bat, top of my head kind of thing. All right, let's take a look. What should I do if my man is treating me like a queen, but he is toxic AF at the same time? Ooh, okay. What I would say to you is, firstly, it's great that you've identified like that toxic behavior. That's kind of the first step. Like, if you've already noticed that they're toxic, I think you already know the answer to this question. I think it's more so that you know what you need to do, but you don't want to do it. And I'm here to tell you that you should probably do it anyway. Like, so when it comes to relationship stuff, it's not just making sure that you're treated right. Obviously, like, there's a lot of details that we don't have in this scenario. Regardless of what form of toxicity you feel like he is kind of putting out there onto you, point is you're identifying it as some kind of toxic vibe. The kind of vibe that you surround yourself is literally like the most important thing. Like, if you identify anyone in your life that's toxic, that's when you need to say, get those scissors out, because you need to cut some ties. I'm telling you, it's not worth it, because you jeopardize your own energy. The fact that this is your man that you're talking about, this is supposed to be like the most empowering relationship between two people. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. Like, a relationship is a union of two people where you empower each other and you help each other to be the best versions of yourselves, right? Like, and if he's treating you like a queen, that's great, that's amazing. Like, know your worth, know your standards, like, know how you should be treated, for sure. But that's not the only thing that you need in a relationship. Like, just because they're being the perfect partner in one respect doesn't mean that the fact that they're doing that really well cancels out the fact that they're like doing other things badly. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, it's great, but it doesn't make up for any kind of toxic behavior. Do you get me? Like, they need to be treating you like a queen and not have any kind of toxic behavior or toxic vibe whatsoever. Like, regardless of what form of toxic vibe you're talking about, if it's there, they gotta go. Like, in my opinion, and I know it's so much easier said than done when you're like, as someone outside of the situation, I'm not in it, I'm not emotionally attached, I've not got my feelings involved in that, so it's easy for me to kind of say it from here. But sometimes you do need someone that's out of it to kind of look at it clearly and be like, okay, sis, what are you doing? You know, there will be someone there that will treat you like a queen and also empower you and not give you any kind of toxic vibe. There will be zero doubt in your mind. And if they're not ticking both them boxes, if they're only ticking one, sis, you can do better. Go get better. Okay, what else do we have? Someone just said sixth form. I feel you, sis. I feel you. We've all been there. Okay, someone else has spoken about A-levels as well. A-levels are so stressful and the workload is getting to me. Any tips? Oh, for A-levels. Oh, remembering that time. I did my A-levels when? When did I do my A-levels? Bro, has it been that many? 6 years? Nah. Yeah, 6, 7 years. 7 years since I was in year 12. 6 years since I was in year 13. That's actually kind of making me feel sick. That's vile. Oh my days, how's it been that long? Anyway, sorry, I'm really going off on a tangent. It's stressful and the workload is getting to you. Yeah, firstly, know that that is completely normal. Whether people tell you this or not, like your peers or whatever, I'm telling you, everyone is stressed. Whether they openly admit it or not, everyone is feeling that same thing. So firstly, it's normal. So don't think like, oh my god, everyone else is handling it fine and I'm out here struggling. It's not like that at all. People are weird. Like, people just don't like to admit that they're struggling sometimes, and it's kind of a pride thing, but let them do their thing. There's power in vulnerability. Anyway, okay, tips. You know what, I would say just make sure that you have enough downtime. I know that there's a lot of pressure at that period in your life. It kind of feels like it's at a junction, right? Like, especially if you're applying to go to uni, or if you're applying for some kind of apprenticeship, or whatever your next kind of step is. A lot of that feels like it's very much dependent on how you do in this moment. So that is a lot of pressure, and especially at that age, I feel like it's a lot of pressure to put on yourself and for other people to indirectly put on you as well, like family, teachers, whatever. Why does it sound like they're literally shooting Fast and Furious outside my window? So I know how much pressure that you feel, and I feel like that pressure can sometimes make you feel like you need to work all the time. And like, I kind of felt that pressure. I mean, when I was in year 12, I wanted to get into medicine, so I was like, oh my god, I literally need to get like all A's, like there is no room for slacking here. And you do end up putting a lot of pressure on yourself, but that never really ends up helping, because you're going to end up burning yourself out. Like, if you, like with me, I felt guilty if ever I was doing anything that wasn't studying. And I think that that can get quite unhealthy if you keep getting into that. So I would say just make sure that you're taking enough time for yourself, whether it's going out with friends, whether it's doing like a hobby or something that you like, whether it's literally just sitting, chilling, lighting a candle and like watching some Netflix, like having a little pamper vibe, whatever it is. And make sure that you set aside that time, a little bit of time every day for you. Don't let yourself work morning till night, because then you'll end up having nothing left to give and it'll end up working against you rather than with you, you know? So I think defo take time for yourself, take breaks. And I would also say organize your time, like kind of focus on time management so that you don't waste time stressing and not getting work done. That way, the time that you're not actually working, you can enjoy, and you can use that as like time for your mind, body, soul. You know what I mean? Like you can pay a bit more attention to that in those downtimes, rather than, you know, when you're like, oh, for 8 hours, I'm gonna sit in this library and I'm gonna get this work done. But out of that time, yeah, out of those 8 hours, how many of the hours are you actually doing work? Guaranteed it's not the 8 hours straight. So when you're procrastinating and stuff, you could actually be having proper downtime. Do you know what I mean? You could be doing something that you genuinely love. So try to just be on it with your time management. So then your downtime is your downtime and your work time is literally like your grinding time. But good luck, guys, you've got this. My fiance cheated on me, but I still love the girl to bits. More to the story. Ooh, that's really sad. That's hard, and I'm sorry that you're in that position. With this, I feel like it is very personal. As you said, there's more to the story, so that is kind of key. When it comes to cheating, yeah, everyone has their own moral boundaries. So it's one of them things that people can't necessarily advise you that are not in the situation. When it comes to relationships in general, the only two people that really know what's going on is you and your significant other. Like, as much as you can tell people, try to explain things, no one will fully understand the vibe or the dynamic between you guys other than literally you two. So when it comes to advice like that, it can be a little bit sticky, and especially when it's cheating, everyone has different levels of what they accept and what they won't. So I think you need to be honest with yourself and think, do you see yourself being able to genuinely move on from this, let it go, after you've kind of dealt with it, with whatever that is, whether you decide you want to go therapy, whether you guys talk it out, whether you have a break for a bit and then come back and kind of like rekindle, regardless of what you need to do for yourself, do you genuinely think that after you've done that, can you wholeheartedly put everything that she did in the past and genuinely move on? Or will it be something that will always keep coming back? Like, will you be more anxious? Will it affect your trust long term? Do you know what I mean? When an argument comes up, will you keep bringing it up, like in spite? Do you know what I mean? I feel like if you know that you genuinely will never be able to let this thing go, then you need to kind of think about it, because otherwise you guys in your relationship are going to struggle to get past that thing, because you've not accepted that. Like, when you take someone back after they cheat, you need to be prepared to literally put it in the past. And I'm not saying that if someone cheats you should put it in the past and move on, but if that's your decision, you need to do it properly. Otherwise it's going to come back in other problems, like it's going to come back later. But like I said, this is different for everyone. It depends on so many things. It depends on what you accept, what you don't. I just explained what you could do if you want to make it work, if you are willing to, if you want to. On the other hand, if it's something that you feel like you cannot get over, or even if you wanted to get over you couldn't, I think that it's about being honest with yourself about that. And even though you love her, acknowledging that you deserve better, because you do. And regardless, personally, I don't think that anything makes something like that acceptable. I would never deem it acceptable. And you know what you deserve and you know what your worth is, and sometimes you need to kind of be reminded that what you deserve in yourself is more important than the love that you have for somebody else, because that love that you have is for someone else. But setting your standards and knowing what you deserve is the love for yourself, right? Rather than for someone else. And you've always got to put yourself first. You actually have got to, because I feel like even when you think someone else will put you first, when it comes to it, they will always put themselves first. And it's kind of how it should be. Like, you should put yourself first, because who else is going to put yourself first? So I feel like you need to remember what you deserve. And even though it feels like you can't necessarily get past this or get this with another person, there are other people and you can fall in love again. It is possible. But again, it's just very individual. It's a very personal thing. I'm sorry that you're even in that situation in the first place. But I think, to be honest, I think you just need to be honest with yourself. Do you think that in time, after the needed like attention to the situation, however you want to go about it, do you think that you'll be able to move on? Do you want to move on from it? Or do you feel like this is just tainted everything and you want to move on? Because if you want to do that, you can. You just need to believe that you can. It's going to take time. It's going to take quite a healing process, but it's what shapes you. It's what makes you the person that you're meant to be. So if that is what you feel like you need to do, don't feel like you're not physically able to do it. You can still have love for someone and not be with them. It's sad. It's really, really sad, but you can still love someone and not be with them. But yeah, obviously the context is very important. Your relationship is important. You two as people is important. It's all, there's a lot of factors which kind of go into it. And I do think that it's such a personal decision when it comes to something like this. Everyone has their own things of what they allow and what they don't. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, nah, you know what, you can't ever have that, like you can't take that, because that might be the wrong advice for you, and I've got to respect that. Even though it may be different to what I believe, I've got to respect that, which is why I'm trying to talk openly about this. I'm not trying to be biased on one way or another. I think fundamentally the important thing is just know your worth and know what your standards are and what you deserve, and just don't let anything or anyone make you go back on what that is. Okay, next one. Struggling on whether to apply for a new job which might help my career, more money and more holiday, or stay in my current job that I don't love, don't see it as a career, but I'm relatively happy on a day-to-day basis, and the team are so lovely too, especially my boss. I feel like the way that that was phrased, I feel like you know what you want to do, but you know that it's not the easy option. I feel like you know what the right move is here. You said it yourself, you literally answered your own question. It can help your career, more money, more holiday. That's all better quality of life. That's all you moving forward, you're advancing. That's just getting closer to where you want to get to. Or you stay stagnant. But the thing is, when you stay in a place where you're relatively happy, like there's no complaints, you're just gonna stay there. Are you happy to literally stay in that situation? Because you're never gonna know that something can be better than that if you don't try to get better than that. Do you know what I mean? When you are in a job and you see a different job, it appeals to you more, it is scary because you don't want to jeopardize what you have already. You don't want to rock the boat, and I completely get that. But at the same time, how are you ever going to advance closer to where you want to get to your end goal if you don't make that move? Whether it's this job or another job, if you want to get to that place that you're referring to, you're going to have to make a move at some point. So you're gonna have to rock that boat at some point, whether it's now, whether it's next week, next month, next year, you're gonna have to do it. So if there's an opportunity there for you and you can see it and you can identify that it's better in what sounds like every aspect, then I think that you should go for it personally. But in situations like this, I like to write a pros and cons list. I feel like you low-key already did write the pros and cons list in that message, which kind of shows it relatively clearly. I think it's like where you're in right now is a safe option and it's safe to stay and you're happy. So it is scary to like potentially ruin that, but think about it. This could be it. Like, this could be the thing that you have always wanted and always been asking for, but you're never going to know if it is or not if you don't go for it, if you don't take that leap. Like, often the scariest options are the ones that will give us the most growth. Like, it's going out of your comfort zone that leads to the greatest growth within a person. And I feel like right now you feel like you're in your comfort zone, and this job is like, it's got a halo around it to you, but it's out of your comfort zone to kind of like step out of where you are right now. But that's how growth happens. So I mean, if I were you, I would say, you know what, let me live my life, let me go for it. I would say go for it. I would definitely say go for it. You never know where that can take you. Contacts you could make. Your boss like could also be amazing and great. You could meet amazing people, like you have no idea. So I think look at the situation optimistically, and that's so exciting that there are like opportunities like that you can see and identify. I think you should go for it. So there's this guy I'm talking to. He knows how I feel about him, but he doesn't want a relationship. Okay, yeah, I feel you. I have been in that situation. I have some experience there and it really hurts, and I get that. It's hard, it's really hard. Okay, so from this, when you say he knows how I feel about him, I'm guessing you want a relationship, but the issue is that he doesn't. Okay, I feel like, so something I've learned, and I feel like a lot of us girls have a tendency to do this. So when I learned this, it's a hard pill to swallow. It can, and it seems obvious, but we don't do it. Like, as girls, we don't do it. Guys can be very, very simple. I feel like because as women, we're more complex minded, we kind of complicate something which is given to us relatively simply. And I really hope this doesn't sound harsh. I don't mean for it to sound harsh at all. But you literally need to listen to his words. He is explicitly telling you he doesn't want a relationship. So if you continue this and you know deep down that you do honestly still want a relationship, you are setting yourself up for heartbreak. Like, I know you're thinking the situation can change, how he feels could change, and yeah, of course it can, but if it's gonna literally kill you from the inside out in the process, it's not worth it. And I know sometimes it can feel like it might be worth it, but it's not, because simply put, if you're meant to be together, then it will happen, and you need to trust that it will happen if it's meant for you. And if he's not meant for you, like if it doesn't happen with him, it means there's someone better that's more suited for you. Like, think of it like that. You're gonna get him or you're gonna get better, but you need to listen to what he's saying right now. Live in the present moment, and the present moment he is telling you, I don't want a relationship. So you need to literally hear him loud and clear and be like, okay, you don't want a relationship. If you be honest with yourself here, don't change your answer. If you know that you genuinely do want a relationship, you want something serious, then it's time that you walk away, because otherwise you're just going to get hurt. Your feelings are going to get mixed up in this situation, because otherwise he's having his cake and he's eating it too. Like, he's still getting to know you, blah blah blah, whatever, but he knows that he's made it clear that he's not giving you any commitment. So you're giving him kind of like the easy way out. Like, you're giving him the best of both worlds, and that's not fair on you, because you're feeling pain through that, whether you want to admit it or not. And I'm sorry, I feel for you, honestly. Like, I feel for you. I know that feeling, I know it. And it's hard, but you need to make yourself the priority here, and you need to make this decision for yourself. Know that you deserve better. Know that you deserve better. I'm gonna say it again. You deserve someone that when they get to know you, they're like, I'm not letting this one go. Like, I'm not letting this happen. Like, I'm not letting her go. That's the kind of energy you deserve and you need in your life, and you shouldn't settle for anything less. And we're all guilty of this. We literally all are, because we fixate. Like, we fixate on a particular person, we get that emotional attachment, whatever, and then we can't see what we could potentially get elsewhere. Your mind can only look at what you have in front of you. So you can't, like, you scientifically, like, you cannot conceptually understand that there could be someone better for you, because your brain can only understand what it's familiar with. And if you've not met someone that's been better than that person, then you're not going to understand that you genuinely will get better. So it's hard, but I think it's one of them ones where you need to put your faith in the universe, whatever higher spirit you believe in. If you believe in God, I think you need to just put faith that it will happen as it's meant to. Trust me, I know that that is literally the hardest thing, and it's the most annoying thing. I know it's the most annoying thing to be told when you're in that scenario, trust me, but it's actually the only answer here. Like, it is actually the only thing that you can do, because it's literally just, you want something and they don't want it. So it's not gonna, you know? I mean, I pray that he comes to his senses and realizes that he's losing a good thing by losing you. But if he doesn't, then that's his loss, and you'll find someone that will be able to give you that commitment and give you that love and give you everything that he's giving you and more. And more. You never know what can happen in time. It doesn't mean that it's never going to happen, but I think in the meantime you need to take a step back. And it doesn't mean that you taking a step back is meaning that it will never happen with him, but it's about protecting your heart first and foremost, because you set the standards for how other people treat you. And when you're in a situation like that, it's easy to let that guard down, but you need to bring that back up. You need to bring that guard around your heart back up, because he's explicitly telling you he can't give you what you want. So that means you need to go elsewhere for what you want, for what you deserve. This boy that won't leave me alone, he says suicidal things when I try to leave. People like this, nah. These people are the most toxic. That is literally emotional blackmail. That is manipulation at its peak. Oh no, I just, honestly, situations like this gets me so vexed. Like, when I hear things like this, I get so angry. This is a really difficult scenario, and I honestly, like, my heart goes out to you. I do not envy you at all, and it is so difficult. But you need to remember that your health, your welfare comes first. That's what you need to look after. As harsh as this is going to sound, and as hard as it is to execute, you need to worry about yourself and not him. If he is putting that kind of weight on you, I'm going to be honest, that says a lot for how much he loves and cares for you. Because that burden, putting that burden on another person and blackmailing them with that is the most selfish thing that a person can do. And I feel like it says a lot about his true colours. Whether that is true or not, it doesn't change the underlying fact that that is manipulative behaviour, and nothing can excuse that. If he does feel that, if he is struggling with that, he needs to deal with that himself, and he needs to go and seek help for that. He cannot put that on you, because this is the thing, he's playing on the fact that he knows that you have a good heart and that you care about him, or simply that you're just a good person, and he's using that to his advantage to try and force you to stay. And I'm sure you probably know that, and it's more so how to deal with it, because it is hard to know how to deal with a situation like this. I mean, there's so many more details I feel like I need, but like, has he spoken to anyone? Does anyone else know that he has these suicidal thoughts and feelings? I feel like you need to urge him to speak to someone about that. I feel like some kind of action needs to be taken to make sure that he's okay. This is what I would do anyway. I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but this is what I would do. I would reach out to someone, whether it's like someone that I know he's very, very, very close with, or it depends on what your relationship with this guy is, but someone that is a constant in his life, who won't abuse this information, because this is something that you shouldn't share with people, because it's kind of confidential, but someone who you know he would put his trust in, because it's not fair for you to carry this burden and it only be on you, and it's pushing you down. Like, that is toxic energy. I think you need to do something to make sure that he's gonna be all right, that someone else knows. So it's not just you that has this burden. Tell someone who genuinely cares a lot for that person, whether it's a family member or a close friend. Tell them that they're struggling like this, but make it clear that this is not something that you can have on yourself, because you're not interested in having any kind of relationship with that person anymore. Whether it's romantic, whether it's a friend, it doesn't matter. Whatever relationship you have with that person, you don't want that anymore because you're trying to leave, right? So you need to just relay the information to someone else. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Personally, I feel like that's the only way out that I see here, is share that information with someone that you know who you know is trustworthy, and then make it clear that you're going and you're not looking back. And do it in the nicest way, do it in the most sensitive way. Remember that he is obviously in a vulnerable place, whether he's using this for manipulation or not. You know that I'm not vibing with this guy at all, but that doesn't mean that you can't handle this situation with grace and with respect and with love and with empathy. So just do it in a genuine, sweet, caring way, but clear. Be firm. Don't let them think that they can still have some kind of hold on you and bring you back, because remember, this is manipulation. This is toxic behavior. There is nothing to excuse that. Just make sure you're covering your side of things, and then get the hell out. Honestly, don't look back. Get out. Get out, get out, get out, because this is only going to end up pushing you down. There is no way where you will end up being fine at the outcome of this situation unless you go. Friends that end up feeling like leeches. Ooh, this is hard, and it's something that I think a lot of people face, and as you grow up you identify this more. I feel like as you grow as a person, you mature, and your intuition gets heightened. I found that, I would say, in the last year or so, year to 2 years, my intuition has really heightened. I feel like I can read people a lot better than I used to, and my gut speaks to me a lot clearer than before. And the fact that you've identified that those people are moving a bit mad, if you've identified that they're leeches, the hardest part is over and done with. The worst part is when they're in your life and you're oblivious and you're naive to it and you can't see it because you are blinded by your relationship with them and how much love you have for them and the fact that they're your friends. If you've identified they're leeches, simple answer to this: cut them off. Cut them off. No, you can't do that. You cannot have people around you that are sucking your good energy, regardless of whether that's like financial stuff, emotional stuff, whatever kind of leech they are. It doesn't matter. If they're a leech, if they're just sucking something good from out of you and they're not like showering you with good stuff back, they gotta go. They've got to go. You need to just cut them out. Honestly, like, it's going to be hard at first. It's going to sound a bit like savage, but it's literally the only way to do it. Like, to protect yourself, protect your own energy. And trust me, people will come in your life who empower you and literally lift you up and are proud of you and want you to be the best version of yourself genuinely and wholeheartedly. And they will give you everything that you need, like all that encouragement, all that love, and you will give that right back to them. Like, that is a relationship that thrives. And if a relationship is one way, when I say relationship, friendship, relationship, I just mean the relationship between two people. If it's one-sided, that's not what a friendship is, so they've got to go. Simple. Period. Okay, another one says, I've been struggling to study properly as I keep thinking about my family/relationship problems. That is hard. It's really hard, and I feel like that applies to a lot of people in a lot of situations. There are different aspects of your life, and a lot of the time one will be going well and another one won't, or more than one require your attention at any given time at the same time, and it's hard. It's really hard to kind of separate it, especially if you are an emotional person, if you're sensitive, if you really embody your problems and your feelings and your issues. If you embody that, it's really hard to separate the two, and I am one of them people. I find it really hard. But when it comes to your studies, when it comes to your work, listen, all these people around you that are causing you stress, whether it's malicious, whether it's not, whether it's collateral damage, whether they mean to or not, point is they are distracting you from you bettering yourself. You need to simply look at it like that. Those factors are impacting you negatively in terms of you getting where you need to get to in life. And the only relationship that will always be there throughout your life is what you have for yourself. One thing that people can never take away from you is your education, it's your qualifications. That's something that my mum has always taught me, and it's so true in this situation. Relationship problems will come and go, family problems will come and go. That's something that will always happen in life. There will always be ups and downs within your personal life, and you will always have a job or studies or something where your focus needs to be. And it's about learning how to separate the two. It's honestly just a load of discipline, and it's really difficult. There is no simple trick to this. I think that it gets easier over time. I think doing things like meditation and taking time for yourself, journaling, stuff like yoga, going for walks, exercise, things like that, I feel really help, because it helps to just kind of cleanse your mind. Because essentially what it is your mind is feeling cluttered by all the personal problems that are happening in your life, so that when you need to concentrate on something, all those issues that are unresolved in your head keep coming back. And it's about silencing your mind when it needs to be silent, and that only comes from mastering things like meditation. So I would highly recommend you start. I do have a few videos if you don't really know where to start with meditation. There's so many different forms of it. The way that I do it has really helped me for things like what you're describing. So if you just search it, you'll be able to find it. But I would definitely recommend doing those kind of activities, because they will help you to gain control over your mind. And if you can control your mind, you can control the influence that it has over you, and that's essentially what's happening. You are letting your mind take over when you need to be in concentration mode, and eventually you're going to learn how to control that. Because it's just a skill that everyone needs to kind of acquire over time. But it is difficult, and it will get easier over time. But I would definitely suggest things like meditation to help, because you need to remember that your education is going to come first. Like it has got to come first. There's always going to be problems like this going on in the sidelines, but remember that that's what they are. They're in the sidelines. You are always the main character of your own life. You are the focus here. And even though relationship problems can feel like the end of the world, family problems can feel like the end of the world, I promise you they are all temporary and they will pass. But your education, like, this is now, and it's hard to get this time back. Just remember that and try not to lose sight of that. Okay guys, I'm going to end it there, because I feel like I've been talking for a hot sec. I already feel like I'm going to have to cut so much of this out, because I've actually been sitting here talking for the longest time. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this kind of video. I'm so glad I finally did it, and if you want me to do more of them, then let me know. And also head over to Insta, so that the next time I put up a little question thing where you can contribute your dilemmas, then you can participate in this. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so much. Stay safe, stay positive, you got this. I love you, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye guys.